Ladies and gentlemen, it is July 10th, 2017, and as always, welcome to Pillar to Post. This is your Raw Report. Now, I am Pete Wall, as always, going to be here each and every week for your Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday Raw, SmackDown, and NXT report. Now, last week, I ended up missing the SmackDown and NXT report. I do apologize for that. I was off my game last week. I was really busy with a huge project that we started on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it took up a lot of my time, and I ended up passing out during SmackDown and completely forgetting about NXT. I ended up doing a fantasy booking during the show. So I do want to apologize for that. This week we're getting back on track. All the wrestlers that came over from Wrestler Unstoppable on Facebook.com, they've been created. Now I'm working on their entrances as well as move sets, and the people that have joined me from YouTube, they've already got their characters all set the way they wanted. So it's all good on their part, but a lot of work still to do. A lot of work, but it's been a great experience. Now, it started off as a project. I wanted to see if I could actually get people interested, and if I wasn't going to be able to get enough people interested, I wasn't going to go ahead with it. We've got now 100 people involved, from YouTube as well as Wrestler Unstoppable. So it is a big, big thing now. 3 brands. It is titled Friday Fight Night for Friday nights at 6 p.m. And the Saturday night special show is at 6 p.m. on Saturdays. And then you have Suicide Sunday at 6 p.m. Now on Sundays, we all know once a month there's a pay-per-view. So those times will change time to time. But, that's all it. I have yet to do my Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. That is coming tomorrow at noon. I want to give that tomorrow at noon so that way I could have a little bit more time. Do Raw tonight. And last night after watching the pay-per-view, I was just so exhausted because I did a 5-hour live stream with Suicide Sunday. And wow, it was just off the hook. The people in the chat from Wrestler Unstoppable and the people from YouTube, just unbelievable folks. And you guys made my night. That's why I had no problem going right up to the wire. I got upstairs and the first match just began on the main card for Great Balls of Fire. So it was pretty damn close. But I had so much fun I didn't mind. So, before we get going, because we all know we got to do this every show when we're doing the reports as well as the live coverages of any shows I might do. We're going to give a shout out to my patrons. So today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial using this link. audibletrial.com/pillar to post. Now they have over 200,000 titles to choose from, and they are for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player, or any other traveling device that you might carry that can download audiobooks. Now you can take it anywhere you go, fishing, camping, to the gym, doing dishes, doing laundry. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Cooking at the stove, men and women both. You got that option. Use that link. Get your free audiobook. Here's the kicker. If you decide you don't want to stick out the 30-day free membership, you can simply cancel after you've downloaded your free audiobook. You keep the audiobook. Everyone's happy. And every time you do use that link, newcomers, you can only use the link once. But all the people that do use the link, if you've already used it, sorry, you can't do it twice. But newcomers to the channel, if you use the link, you automatically get your free audiobook. You get 30-day free trial to check out what they all have and see if you enjoy their services. Check them out. Also, our newest sponsor, Grapple Merch. Visit grapple.bigcartel.com, and when using this code, Pillar to Post 77 at the checkout counter, you receive a discount courtesy of Pillar to Post and Grapple merch. They have wrestling memorabilia such as t-shirts, autographed photos, WWE Elite wrestling figures in your very own Grapple box. This month is Grapple box for Elite. I did make my purchase, so make sure you check them out. You might like the price. You might like what you get in your Grapple box. So there's my shout out. Now, this weekend, Sunday, matter of fact, at noon, we had a live drawing. And that was to celebrate our 200th subscriber. Bone Dog from Wrestler Unstoppable. You were our 200th subscriber. So I thank you for that, and I want to thank all my subscribers. But the man who won the draw was from here on YouTube.com. His name is Tyler Black, and he is from the, what is his channel name again? Oh, I keep on forgetting it. Here we go. Let me see. What are we here for? You know what? I will have it in the description below. Make sure you check out his channel. I don't have it on me right now. But he is an awesome guy. Great to talk to. He's become a good friend of mine. Tyler Black, I know you're going to tune in to watch this once it's up. Make sure you put your channel link in the description or the name of your channel. Either ways, it gets done. Now, you can find merchandise from Circle of Steel as well as Pillar to Post at Teespring.com, and my store links are in the description below. You have a choice of Pillar to Post merchandise or Circle of Steel merchandise. Now, the choice Tyler Black chose for for free merchandise was a Big Dog Wrestling t-shirt. So, this week I will reveal the new look for the design of Big Dog Wrestling t-shirts. And you can find that at Teespring.com later on this week. But you can also order from me personally. Now, Tyler Black, you will be getting yours from me personally, and I will be shipping it out to you. Make sure I get your information on how to ship it out to you, and I will get it down to you right away. Now, I've got a Facebook merchandise page, my Facebook author page, and if you want to send me a friend request, connect with me on Facebook, you have that option, and those links are in the description below. I do some stuff on VidMe. I haven't been doing much lately. Been really busy with this Big Dog Wrestling project here on YouTube. I should stop calling it a project because it has already been a success. And I'm going to keep on running with it until people say, we're not interested anymore, or whatever, you know? But it's going good, and once 2K18 comes out, I'll be running something on there as well. Patreon. Now, if you want to support the channel for all the hard work I've been putting in lately, you can pledge for as low as $1 a month. And that can be done at my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Pillar to Post. Like I said, you can pledge for as low as $1 a month, and you can go up as high as you want. Now, if you go up any higher than $1, there are different levels of rewards. I know at $20, you are enrolled in a draw for a t-shirt from Circle of Steel. At $30, I believe it is the signed copy of my novel. And at $50, you automatically get a Pillar to Post hoodie. Okay? Automatically, you pledge $50, you automatically get the Pillar to Post hoodie. So that's there. We're going to add some other stuff as well, because we've got 3 brands working here. We've got Circle of Steel, we've got Pillar to Post, and now we've got Big Dog Wrestling. Damn, has that been a success and a joy to do. You can connect with me on Twitter at Pillar to Post 77, and if you have any intentions of ordering some merchandise from me personally, you can send me the info at steeldragon1234@hotmail.com, or if you have a unique story to tell me about your experience in wrestling. Now, you can either be a former wrestler, or you can be an indie wrestler, or you can just have gone to a wrestling event and it just kind of made something click in you, And that was the beginning of your huge fandom for wrestling. You know, something like that. There is a new series coming very soon. I am going to be talking with indie wrestlers from around Canada as well as the US. Now I'm going to be doing this via Skype or Facebook face chat. And I'm going to be interviewing them about their experiences, how they got into the business, how the business was to them, and their struggles and their achievements in the wrestling world within the indie series. So, that's all taken care of. Now, let's move on to tonight's show. Now, the show opened with Big Cass coming out. Sorry, I'm enjoying a little concoction I started a couple of years ago. I call it a Dirty Caesar. Now, what do you ask is a Dirty Caesar? Well, simple. I've got vodka in the fridge, but sometimes I like to switch it up. I'll make a Caesar the same way you do with vodka, but then I'll throw beer in it instead. That is my Dirty Caesar. Okay, you've got vodka, beer, you got your Clamato, you got your Rimmer, you got your Worcestershire sauce, you got your Tabasco sauce. I didn't put the celery in there, a little bit of lemon just to give it a little zing. And bada bing, you got your Dirty Caesar. Try it out if you want. Tastes pretty damn good. So, Cass stands in the ring making this strange face. I thought it was very peculiar the way he was staring into the camera. Cass eventually asks the crowd how they are doing. Cass says he couldn't feel any better after he destroyed Enzo Amore last night at Great Balls of Fire. Goes on to narrate a few still shots from the match last night, and Cass notes that he threw Enzo out of the ring and out of his life. The best part of last night wasn't Cass standing over Enzo, but what happened after. Now Cass shows a video of Enzo being helped to the back by referees. Cass says he wants to put everyone in the back on notice. That goes from the bottom straight to the top. Everyone who may want to hop on the bandwagon, don't bother. Don't try to hop on Big Cass's big bandwagon. To everyone who doubted him, he will be the Universal Champion. Cass is going to hold the title and shove it down everyone's throat. No one can look eye to eye with Cass. He is 7 feet tall. And that's when the Big Show's music hits. Out comes the Show, comes all the way down to the ring. Cass and Show stare daggers at each other, and Cass gets in Show's face and says something no one could hear unless you're probably right up close to the ring. Show headbutts Cass. Show takes Cass down and Gator rolls him. And, Show tries to toss Cass out of the ring, but Cass crumbles onto the bottom rope. Eventually, Show ends up kicking him in the ass and getting him to roll out of the ring. So that happened. Now let me go on with my thoughts on this opening segment. Let me take this off. I wear this usually through the whole show sometimes. It's to show my love for my brand. I've worked hard for it. It is going good. The merchandise sales are going good, but that's neither here nor there when we're discussing Monday Night Raw. I'm going to say this. Cass could make a great star. Okay? He could make a great competitor for that Universal title. One, he looks like he needs to hit the gym a bit more. He needs to do a little bit more cardio. That's for one. And God, please, help him on the microphone. Okay? It's like you got a cross between Charlotte Flair and Cass talking on that microphone. I'm sorry, like me, I'm not the best talker when I'm on the mic. Everyone knows that. You know, you guys have watched me every week. You guys have tuned in to Big Dog Wrestling. You guys know I'm not the greatest. But at least when I'm out there, I give it every goddamn thing I've got. By the time I'm done a live stream, I'm sweating bullets because I put my all into it. And then you get this tall son of a bitch come into the ring in WWE Raw, and he sounds like a robotic motherfucker that I just want to turn that TV off because, Christ, you bore the hell out of me. Okay? Now, I fell asleep through this opening segment. My wife had to fill me in, and then I had to go to YouTube later on, right before I did the show, to check out what happened with this opening match, because I am serious. I fell the fuck asleep. That's how bored I was listening to Big Cass talk. There is no passion. There is no emotion. You know, I want to see some ferociousness in his eyes. He just kicked the fucking shit out of his best friend. Now, I've had friends where I've had to put in line because they stepped out of line and thought that they were bigger than me. They could treat me like shit. So I went and knocked the shit out of them, and I made sure that they fucking knew who they were talking to from then on. This guy comes down to the ring. No emotion. No heart. Doesn't know how to speak a lick on that microphone. And we're supposed to believe he's going to be the next big thing. The next Universal Champion. Give me a fucking break. You're big. You're not tough. And you sure as hell can't talk on the mic. So, here we go. We're going to have a feud between Big Show and Cass. This is how it's going to start. And you know what's going to happen. Big Show, the best shape of his life. He's got a fucking six-pack these days, how hard he's been training. He looks great. You can see he's moving better. And he's going to have to job to this guy to put him over so the fans believe that he is something special. Fuck you. I don't fucking accept it. It's unacceptable. That's my feelings on that. This opening segment, complete garbage. Complete. And that's the way you want to start off Monday Night Raw. You know what? We used to start Monday Night Raw off with a good old-fashioned knock 'em, sock 'em, drag 'em out brawl. And now these days, everyone wants to talk. No one wants to fight. And yet they all want to join at the same old Chipotle or fucking gym or whatever they're doing, sipping on fucking margaritas and fucking chugging milkshakes. Everyone's friends in the back, and no one, absolutely no one, shows that they've got heart for this company. Now, it's not all their fault. Vince McMahon doesn't help things, but we get stuck with openings like this crap. So let's move on. Did it get any better? First matchup of the night, Elias Sampson. He's down in the ring, and he does his usual bit. Now, Sampson asks the crowd who wants to walk with Elias Sampson, and of course they respond with utter silence. Sampson says, please hold your applause until the end, and naturally the arena is filled with a thunderous clap from the crowd as Sampson tries to sing a song about Finn Balor. Balor's music hits, interrupts him once again. You see actual passion in this guy's eye. He actually looks like he's pissed off that he's been interrupted. I like that about Elias Sampson. But he's new to WWE. That's going to fade. And he's going to get tired of this fucking gimmick that they've stuck him with. So, our first match of the night is Finn Balor versus Elias Sampson. Now, my thoughts on the match, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't a bad match. It's just, there's absolutely no substance. Why? A man that has been undefeated as the Universal Champion, is he with these guys from the bottom of the barrel? Yes, Elias Sampson is a bottom of the barrel character. He's got promise, but he's new. He hasn't even been tested properly. And he's got potential to be a big contender. But he's a rookie on the main roster. He should be down low. And Balor should be fighting out with the top level guys, making sure that everybody remembers why he was the Universal Champion. But we get a match with no substance. Yes, he interrupted Elias Sampson's music last week, got attacked from behind following that, and we get this match here. Now, I'm not going to say it was a terrible match. I'm just saying there's no substance behind it, and the fact that Finn Balor was undefeated as Universal Champion and he isn't hanging with the big boys makes absolutely no sense to me. So we get the lockup at the beginning of the match. Samson picks up Balor and body slams him right off the hop. Balor punches Samson in the kidney and locks in a side headlock. Samson tries to force Balor into the ropes, but Balor holds on. Samson attempts a sunset flip, but Balor rolls through and drop kicks Samson in the face. Now Samson dumps Balor out onto the apron. Balor kicks Samson in the face, and Balor goes up top. But Samson rolls out of the ring. Sorry about that. After a short break, Samson is stomping on Balor. Samson puts Balor in a seated full Nelson, and Balor stands up and rolls up Samson for a near fall. Now Balor manages to build up some momentum and lands a kick to Samson's face once again. Samson mounts the top rope, but Balor kicks him off. We get a baseball slide by Balor. Balor attempts the apron punt kick, or penalty kick, I do apologize. But Samson catches Balor's foot and slams him shoulder first into the apron. Samson slaps on an arm bar to further injure the arm, and Balor attempts to get to the ropes. Now Samson tries to pick up Balor, but Balor sweeps Samson's leg and hits a double stomp. We get an arm wringer by Samson for a near fall, and Samson tries to lock in a wrist lock, but Balor surprises Samson with a Pele kick. We get the sling blade by Balor, and then he follows it up and charges up and sends Samson into the corner with that torpedo drop kick we so love to see from Balor. Now, following that, he hits the coup de grace for the win. And as always, Finn Balor is your winner. Now, after the match, we get a little surprise. The Hardy Boys come out on stage as Balor is celebrating, congratulate him, and after a series of handshakes, Balor motions for the Hardys to go to the ring. So, like I said, it wasn't a bad match. It just had no substance behind it. Yes, they had a little attack by Samson last week to Balor in the backstage, but all in all, it makes no sense why they are dumbing down Finn Balor. When I say dumbing down, I mean lowering him so that way all these other big guys look good, yet he is undefeated as the Universal Champion. And yes, they love to mention he is the first ever Universal Champion as he's making his way down to the ring for a match. But you hardly ever hear that he was undefeated for it. So that tells me that they want people to forget that he didn't lose the title. They want guys that sit on their ass at home like Brock Lesnar doing absolutely nothing for the business. I don't even want to get into the match. I'll get into the match with Samoa Joe at Great Balls of Fire tomorrow at noon. Believe me, I'll get into that because to me, complete fucking waste of my time. So, we get an in-ring segment first with the Hardy Boys. Now, Jeff says they battled Sheamus and Cesaro in a grueling 30-minute Iron Man match. You know what? Any good match, especially tag team match, will last at least 30 minutes. Okay? That does not make it an Iron Man match. That makes it an actual good tag team bout. To call it an Iron Man match is a slap in the face for all the guys that have done Iron Man matches for an hour straight in that ring. Busting, bleeding, sweating. That's an Iron Man match. Taking yourself to the limit. Knowing that you gave it every drop of blood, sweat, and tears into that match. And by the end of that match, you have a standing ovation for both guys, no matter if they're heel or their face. Because people enjoyed what you did and how much you gave to them. 30 minutes in that ring. Absolutely bullshit to call it an Iron Man match. But I digress. They didn't walk away with the belts, and they know every team in the back thinks they are done. They think the nostalgia pop is over. Maybe they should just fade away and classify themselves as obsolete. Now, I guarantee there was a lot of fans squealing like pigs at that fucking reference to the broken gimmick. Guarantee it. Now the crowd started chanting, delete, delete, delete over and over again. You knew the fanboys were out there tonight. Now, Matt says they came out here tonight to make a proclamation, furthering insinuating the broken world of Matt Hardy is coming to WWE. The Hardys are not going anywhere. They have only begun to make magic in the WWE universe. Now, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson come out and say it was them who said the Hardys were done. They aren't the Hardy Boys of old. They are just the old Hardy Boys. The Hardys need to go elsewhere to practice their magic because Gallows and Anderson are the magic killers. Now, Matt says they are a bit bruised and stitched up and somewhat broken. If Gallows and Anderson think the ring belongs to them, let's get a referee out here now so they can prove what they say is actually true. So that was the segue into our tag team bout. Hardys versus Gallows and Anderson. Are we going to be seeing the Broken Hardys coming to WWE? Sounds like it's possible because that is the most we have had them insinuate and tease about the broken characters in the WWE itself on television. So something big might have happened. I am out of the loop this week and last week. I have not been able to check out any news, rumors, or whatever. That will be coming back this week, believe me. I've got a lot of work ahead of me and my schedule's starting to straighten out. So believe me, a lot of shit's coming back. We're going to be busy here on Pillar to Post, but I'm going to give you every drop I've got. Now the Hardys double team Anderson right off the hop, and Anderson gets dropped with a double back suplex. We get a poetry in motion to Gallows, but after the break, Gallows and Anderson hit the boot of Doom on Jeff, and Matt breaks up the pin. Jeff tags in Matt Hardy. Matt grabs Anderson and slams him head first into all three turnbuckles over and over and over and over again while the fans chant with glee. It was delete, delete, delete straight down all three turnbuckles, people. Now Matt goes for a running bulldog, but Anderson pushes him away and runs right into a side effect. Now Matt knocks Gallows off the apron, lands a diving elbow to Anderson, calls for the twist of fate, but Gallows kicks Matt in the back of the head. Anderson hits Matt with a running knee. Gallows and Anderson hit the magic killer on Matt. Jeff tries to make the save, fails, and Gallows and Anderson take the win. After the match, however, we get a huge surprise, and the fans pop for these guys. We've been waiting for their return. They made their presence felt tonight, folks. The Revival came back with a vengeance, hit the ring, and laid out the already broken Hardy Boys. The Revival put a period on the beatdown after a shatter machine to Jeff Hardy. Excellently done. I love that comeback. They came right to the ring, walked right between Gallows and Anderson like they meant nothing to them. Didn't even give them a look in the eye, just clearly had one intention and took out the Hardy Boys. To me, the best part of that match was right there. So that is a huge feud rolling towards us. I want to see that. The Revival, a great throwback tag team. If you remember guys like Ole Anderson and Arn Anderson in the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Okay, think of those guys, and you've got the Revival, because it, like their t-shirt says, no flips, just fists. And I like that about these guys. They don't want to be fancy. They want to go in there and they want to beat people up, and they want to put the pain on their opponents, and that's respectable. So we get an in-ring segment. Miz TV is back once again this week, and you know my thoughts on Miz TV, on the highlight reel, on the fucking Ambrose Asylum. It is complete garbage, and we got the same fucking bullshit all over again this week with Miz TV. And it was all about fueling his ego. God, they got trophies in there, and he's going to do the Mizzies because, you know, the Golden Globe or whatever the fuck it's called, People's Choice, all these award ceremonies mean absolutely nothing. Why? because they didn't even think about Marine 5 as a nomination. Why? Here's your answer, Miz. It completely fucking sucked. Okay, I couldn't even last 10 minutes in the movie. I passed out. I've tried watching it a couple of times since, and I turned that motherfucker off because, by God, that is the worst camera work I've seen. That is the worst acting I've seen from a group of guys that think they are movie stars. You need to think about sticking into the ring and actually learning your own moves instead of just copying what everybody else does besides you. Be unique, you fucking loser. So Miz and the Miztourage welcome the crowd to the Mizzies, which is apparently the only award show that really matters. The first Mizzy Award is for Best Supporting Actor. For the first time in history, there is a tie. The winners are Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Can you believe that, people? You know, I really thought Ambrose was going to be the winner of that. Honestly. Fuck you. The winners, like I said, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, and Dallas says he has something to say. Puts over the Miz for changing his life, and Axel says Miz has done so much for them already. Because of Miz, he looks like $1 million, and he is going to make $1 million. I'm going to say this, bro. You can buy yourself a $300 suit. Does not make you look like $1 million. My brother just bought a $300 suit. Actually, it was $600. He still looks like trash. But I'm not going to say that to his face because, Frank, I want him to feel like $1 million. He's my bro. You, however, look like you wormed your way out of the trailer park, grabbed some fucking suit off the rack at a thrift store, came down to the ring with Miz and say, oh, god damn, I feel like $1 million. With your fucking potential and talent. Fuck you, man. Third generation superstar, you should be outclassing whatever the Miz is doing. Get a fucking gimmick. Get a fucking personality. Give us something new. You are Mr. Perfect's son. You are Larry the Axe Henning's grandson, for fuck's sakes. And this is what you give us. Being a follower of The Miz who couldn't lace up another man's boots in that ring. Give me a fucking break. Moving on. The next award is for the most beautiful, gorgeous, sexy leading lady. And it is, of course, Miz's wife, Maryse. Maryse starts to cry and says she couldn't have done this without him. And the final Mizzy of the evening is the greatest man in WWE. Miz opens up the envelope and says, huh? Dean Ambrose? What? Miz says he's just kidding. The winner is The Miz. And did you ever doubt it, folks? Miz notes that Seth Rollins, Akira Tozawa, and the Hardy Boys all said they would win last night, and they all failed. Miz calls Ambrose the toughest person he has ever faced. Ambrose may be the toughest man in WWE, and if Miz be him, what does that make him? And of course, you get Dean Ambrose's music. Ambrose power walks to the ring, tackles the Miz, but the Miztourage jumps all over him, beats him down. Rollins hits the ring and makes the save, hitting one of the guys with the table holding the Mizzies. And there it is. That's the end of the Miz TV segment. Now backstage, however, Ambrose runs up behind Rollins and asks him what the hell he was thinking. Rollins says he wasn't going to let Miz run his mouth. Ambrose tells Rollins he doesn't trust him. There isn't going to be a Shield reunion. Ambrose tells Rollins to stay out of his business and walks away. So that's the end of that. No Shield reunion for you, you fucking losers. Up next, Sasha Banks and Bayley in tag team action. And yes, once again, they'll be facing Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. Same old. Almost identical match than what we've already seen. But a different outcome. Okay, they had to make Bayley shine a little bit tonight. Okay, she can't always be losing because it's going to hurt her rep. And I say that with absolutely no respect for what I'm seeing from Bayley in that ring. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not a Bayley hater. I think she's got a lot of potential. I think she is a great wrestler. But she's been stuck in the WWE trap. She started off good in NXT because, hell, you had Triple H and William Regal running things, making her look good. She comes up to the main roster. She should have gotten in a little bit of a more mature gimmick. But no, they wanted to stay and keep her the way she was to, get that merchandise sales up with the little kitties. Okay? And all those perverts fantasizing about, doing nasty things to little girls. Why not have a girl there that they can fantasize about? And that is Bayley. And I am sorry for going that route, people. I shouldn't have. But I'm making a point. This woman has got shitloads more potential in her, and I believe a lot more experience and a lot more heart than a lot of these female wrestlers have. I would see Bayley in a more mature attitude and showing a lot more heart in that ring. I would see her win a title rather than see Sasha Banks in that ring. A lot of guys might hate me for it. I can tell you right now, I don't care. Sasha Banks has got a lot of potential, and she gets underutilized because they want people to feel pity for her. Why should we feel pity for her? She wants to continue this trade of, oh, I made my dream come true. You know what? You won the women's title. You made it to WWE. You fulfilled those dreams that you had as a child. It's time to move on. Give us something new. Give us something more mature. And I want to see you kick some ass. That's what I want to see from Bayley. Not the crap we keep on seeing. Her Bayley buddies, her Bayley bears, her hugs. And no, I don't want to see it. This is wrestling. I want to see you punch someone in the face. And I want to see you enjoying it. Okay? Because that's wrestling. So, Banks tries to lock up with Bliss, but Bliss runs into the ropes. As she always does, Bliss tags in Jax after catching Banks with a slap to the face. Now Banks tags in Bayley. Bayley tackles Bliss off the apron as Bayley and Jax tussle. Now Bayley lands a diving elbow drop to Jax's back, and Jax rolls out of the ring as we cut to our commercial break. Now after the break, Banks crushes Bliss with double knees in the corner. Bayley tags in and blasts Bliss with a bulldog. Bliss tags in Jax. Jax picks up Bayley, but Bayley slips off Jax's shoulder. Now Bayley stuns Jax on the middle rope, and Bayley goes up top, but Bliss distracts her long enough for Jax to splash her in the corner. Jax whips Bliss into the corner, and Bliss pulls a page out of Andrade Cien Almas' playbook with a running slap in the face. Excuse me. Jax and Bliss take turns beating up Bayley. Bliss misses a slap on Banks, and Banks tries to get in the ring. Now, while the referee is distracted, Jax splashes Bayley in the corner. Bliss knocks Banks off the apron, and Bliss hits Twisted Bliss on Bayley. Banks manages to break the count, and Jax tosses Banks out of the ring. Now, Jax tries to splash Banks on the barricade, but Banks moves out of the way just in the nick of time. Bayley rolls up Bliss for the win. Your winners, Sasha Banks and Bayley. Now, when it comes to women matches, not a bad match, but we've already seen this done just with a different outcome. Last week, we had Bayley on the outside against the barricade, and she ate a knee from Nia Jax. This week, exact opposite. We had Sasha on the barricade, and it was going to happen again. This time, Sasha Banks showing she is smarter than Bayley. She rolls out of the way, and Nia Jax takes herself out. So, tit for tat kind of deal. Same story, same match, different outcome. So, Up next, we get a Shattered Dreams production. Goldust says R-Truth tried to ruin his premiere last week. Shattered Truth was still a hit, however. Now, Goldust is going to give the people what they want. Shattered Truth Part 2. The Golden Age is back. So, up next, yes, that was your segue into the next bout. R-Truth versus Goldust. So Goldust catches Truth with a few strikes. Truth responds with a few of his own. Truth splashes Goldust in the corner. Slammed by Truth. Truth tries to set up the 10 punches in the corner. Goldust trips Truth which causes Truth to get hung up in the ropes. Now Goldust beats Truth around the ring before locking in a rear chin lock. Truth tries to fight out of the hold, but Goldust hits a spine buster. Truth grabs the bottom rope and breaks the pin. Goldust sets up the 10 punches in the corner. Truth picks up Goldust and executes a running power bomb, or more like a walking power bomb. Let's see. Now, Truth fires up and hits a spinning elbow and calls for the axe kick, but Goldust moves out of the way. Goldust chop blocks Truth, and Goldust works over Truth's knee. Now, Truth surprises Goldust with an axe kick, but Goldust manages to kick out of the pinning attempt. Goldust sends Truth shoulder first into the ring post, picks up Truth, and hits a spinning neck breaker, for the victory. Your winner of the match, Goldust, and his Shattered Dream Productions continues, and we're going to see a lot more from the old Goldust. I love the old Goldust. The Goldust era was awesome when he first came in. I'm kind of missing the white wig, though. Just kind of. Now, he came out with a new robe today, and it's very reminiscent of his old days, just without the boas and the frillies and everything. Other than that, though, very near look. Up next, though, is our in-ring segment with Kurt Angle. But before we get to that, need a little drink of my Dirty Caesar. So, Angle says the ambulance match got out of hand last night. You think? Braun Strowman refused medical treatment last night, so Angle has no idea when Strowman will return. That said, the show must go on. Angle calls out the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, to the ring. Now, Lesnar and Heyman walk to the ring, and Angle says years ago, Lesnar beat him for the WWE Champion. Angle says he thought Samoa Joe may defeat Lesnar last night. Angle then congratulates Lesnar for the win. Now Heyman asks, I lost my place here for a bit. Okay, there we go. Heyman asks Angle if there was anything else. Angle says he wanted to tell them his ideas for who Lesnar will face at SummerSlam this year. Heyman says they aren't going to offer their creative services for free, and Heyman and Lesnar start to leave. That's when Roman Reigns' music hits and Reigns walks out to the ring. You knew it was coming, folks. You absolutely knew it was coming. But I had an idea there was another man coming to the ring, and that's going to come a little bit later. Now, Angle tells Heyman they aren't done. Angle gets in Reigns' face and tells him Reigns has a lot of nerve showing up tonight after what he did last night. Reigns says he can't believe Angle is questioning what he did. Reigns adds that Angle should thank him for handling Strowman. Angle didn't know how to, and Lesnar was never around to. Lesnar gets in Reigns' face, but Angle steps between them immediately. Reigns says Angle may owe him one. That one is a match against Lesnar. Now Heyman tries to speak, but Lesnar grabs the mic and asks Reigns if he's kidding. Lesnar tells Reigns he doesn't deserve shit. And he adds boy at the end too. Reigns doesn't deserve shit, boy. Lesnar tells Reigns this is as close as he is going to get to it. That's when Samoa Joe's music hits and he comes on out to an amazing applause, by the way. Joe says they are all living in a fantasy world and he is going to bring them back to reality. Lesnar says the reality is he kicked Joe's ass last night. Joe tells Lesnar that sooner or later he's going to put Lesnar's ass to sleep. Sorry. Joe tells Lesnar that he knows in his heart of hearts he didn't beat Joe, he escaped him. Now Joe turns to Reigns and reminds him that Reigns has never, ever beat Joe as of yet. Now Heyman jumps on the mic, starts screaming, says Reigns deserves a shot because he beat The Undertaker. Joe does not. Heyman says Joe will never get another shot. Joe says that advocate, Lesnar and Joe go nose to nose. Angle separates them. Joe tells Lesnar that Heyman is protecting him from Joe. Lesnar points at Reigns. Joe tells Lesnar to look at him when he is talking to him, or they can settle this right now. Now Joe says he has Lesnar's number. Reigns says Joe sure showed everyone that last night. Joe tells Reigns he is real mouthy for someone who got beat up by Strowman last night. Reigns says he is standing here and Strowman is nowhere to be found. Angle turns around and books Joe versus Reigns next week, and the winner gets Lesnar at SummerSlam. Now, after this is all settled out and Joe leaves the ring, Corey Graves is shown looking at his phone and leaves the commentary area. We know what that's going into, but we'll get into that later. This segment was perfect, okay? Excuse me. You've seen the intensity in Joe, and after Joe came out, you've seen the intensity come out in Brock Lesnar. You didn't see that when it was just Lesnar and Roman Reigns. You don't see that between those two. But you add Joe into that, and damn, the fire is lit. This guy brings emotion to the ring, and people react. Even what could be his opponents react. That's what I love about Joe. That intensity and that realism that he brings to the fights. It makes you want to see him kick someone's ass because you know he can actually do it. Now, I've followed Joe throughout most of his career, and I have loved everything this guy does. He makes things look legit. Now, everyone, when Brock Lesnar won the Universal title, everyone was saying he legitimized that title. He made it legit. He made it worthy. But what has he done? He beat Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg for it, which wasn't a good match at all. He sat on his ass since WrestleMania. Let that title collect dust. Has not been seen until a couple of weeks before the pay-per-view. Great Balls of Fire. That's how much he's done for that title. Complete bullshit, people. You want a champion. That's Joe. Samoa Joe, folks. Forget about Roman Reigns. All you Roman Reigns lovers need to just calm the fuck down and let a man like Joe show you how the show should be run. That's all I'm saying. So, following that, Graves finds Angle backstage and asks if he got the same text. Angle says he thinks he has to go public with this. Angle hopes his family will support him and he may lose his job. Angle says he is going to go public with this next week. Graves says he doesn't think it will come to that. So that's following up with all these stories. This is supposed to be the storyline that brings Kurt Angle back to the ring. Everyone's waiting for it. We're going to see where it leads us. Akira Tozawa with Titus O'Neil will tag up with Cedric Alexander, going up against Noam Dar with Alicia Fox and Neville. You know what? Not a bad cruiserweight match, but come on, people. We've seen these guys face each other so many times. Bring some other cruiserweights into the main roster if you're going to do this, because there are some other guys that actually can be showcased as well. Highlight them a little bit. Every week, week in, week out, Akira Tozawa, Cedric Alexander, Noam Dar, and Neville. I'm tired of it, folks. I'm not even going to go over it. It wasn't a bad match. Your winners were Akira Tozawa and Cedric Alexander, and this is all to fuel that oncoming fight between Akira Tozawa and Neville. Okay, Tozawa wants his rematch against Neville for the title. That's all this was for. It wasn't a bad match. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just every week it's these two going at each other, or these four fighting each other in some way, fashion, or form. I'm tired of it. Backstage, Charlie is with Seth Rollins. Charlie asks why Rollins is getting involved with Ambrose and Miz when he needs to keep his eye on Bray Wyatt. Now, Rollins says a cheap win isn't going to change the fact that Wyatt is just a guy that can't hang with Seth freaking Rollins. You know what? I'm going to say this. Didn't mind Rollins as a heel. Trying to play the face takes it all away. Okay, he's lost his identity. He can't distinguish between being a Kingslayer, being Seth freaking Rollins, or the Architect. Okay, this guy needs to take himself back to the drawing board. WWE needs to let him be the heel he can be, because he's a lot better. And now that he's finally gotten rid of the pedigree as a finisher, it would be the perfect time. Wyatt ends up cutting a promo as well, and it's cut deep in the abyss of the arena. But here's a spoiler for you people. It was done in the women's bathroom. Yes, it was. Wyatt says he is everywhere. He promises Rollins will not deny him again. This is getting a little bit weird, by the way, but Wyatt is here. The fact that it was done in the women's bathroom, I find just a little bit strange. But his promos are always good, okay? But Wyatt, he's got a way of making things get a little bit weird at times when he's doing his promos. That's why it's stuck in. This is getting a little bit weird. But other than that, love his promos. Love the way he wrestles. And it's good that he's starting to wrestle the top performers a bit more. And it's good to see him winning. But I don't see him as a world or universal champion, I should say, here on Raw. I don't think they're going to give him that opportunity. On SmackDown, he was starting to get there. And then for some reason, they thought they needed to trade him. And I don't think that makes any sense. So up next is Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. And while if you watched the pay-per-view last night, went down pretty well similar as last night's match. If you didn't, well, I'll read it to you. So Wyatt tries to cheap shot Rollins, but Rollins catches Wyatt's hand. Rollins lands multiple rights and lefts to Wyatt. Wyatt goes for Rollins' injured eye. Rollins manages to super kick Wyatt for a near fall. Wyatt surprises Rollins with a running body block, and Wyatt calls for Sister Abigail. Rollins counters quickly and sends Wyatt to the outside. Now Rollins tries a suicide dive, but Wyatt bats him away, and Wyatt launches a right hand, but Rollins moves out of the way as well. Wyatt ends up punching the ring post, and Rollins punishes Wyatt's injured hand. Now Rollins springboards back into the ring, and Wyatt catches him in midair, and a Uranagi suplex is beautifully executed on him. Now, if you don't know what a Uranagi is, it's very similar to the rock bottom, just done slightly different. That is where the rock bottom came from. It is basically a Uranagi slam. Now, after the break, Wyatt is working a sleeper hold. Rollins drop kicks Wyatt in the face. Wyatt splashes Rollins. Rollins fires up and fights out of the corner. Wyatt grabs Rollins' head and plants him with a sick DDT. Right on top of his head, folks. Rollins manages to kick out of the pinning predicament, and Wyatt goes back to the sleeper hold. Rollins stands up, but Wyatt sits Rollins on the top rope. Wyatt climbs up as well. Wyatt and Rollins trade punches. Rollins pushes Wyatt off. Wyatt moves out of the way for Rollins' attack, and Rollins and Wyatt go into another striking exchange. Rollins floors Wyatt with a leaping head kick, and Rollins kicks Wyatt in the gut, then stomps on his hand. Wyatt rolls out of the ring, but Rollins suicide dives him onto it, grabbing a handful of the dreads on top of Wyatt's head and bashes his head into the barricade. Rollins rolls Wyatt back into the ring. Springboard clothesline. Actually, it was a springboard forearm for a long 2 count by Rollins. We get the blockbuster, but Rollins for another near fall. Wyatt tries a suplex, but Rollins counters it into a Falcon's Arrow. A little bit surprised he was able to manage it. Wyatt kicks out again. Rollins tries to set up a ripcord knee, but gets a huge headbutt by Wyatt. And Wyatt reverses it into Sister Abigail. Rollins counters that into a roll-up. Wyatt kicks out. Wyatt headbutts Rollins in the eye. And a Sister Abigail is finally completed. It's all over. Your winner, once again, Bray Wyatt. Now, after the match, Wyatt disappears. And The Miz, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel hit the ring. And they start beating down on Seth Rollins. Obviously, Ambrose, not there to basically save Rollins, but to get his aggression out on the Miztourage as well as Miz, hits the ring with a steel chair and lays a beating down on the Miz and his Miztourage. Clears the ring, everyone takes off, and Rollins looks on in amazement. Now, as the show's about to end, we get another backstage segment, and Angle is on the phone with someone who we have no idea about. Angle tells the person on the phone that they should tell the whole world together. Now, Angle asks them to come there next week. Angle says he loves the person on the phone and hangs up, and that is the end of your show. So, if I were to rate this show on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 5. Okay? 5 because there was too much bullshit, and as always, not enough wrestling, a whole lot of talking, and no big storylines being built except for Samoa Joe and Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns. We don't know what's going on with Braun Strowman. It's the same old from SmackDown. Now that it's on Raw, it is Ambrose and Miz. Now they're going to probably try and add Seth Rollins into that and probably make it a triple threat or add Bray Wyatt in there, and you've got a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental title. Who knows? Who knows? But like I said, I'm going to do my Great Balls of Fire review for you tomorrow at noon. I think I'm going to do a live stream of it and give you my thoughts and my reaction to what I witnessed. And I actually managed to stay awake. I had a hell of a night that night. There was 5 hours of live streaming of Big Dog Wrestling, me doing commentary. And the way I do commentary, I drop my voice, I make it gravelly, and you'd think that it would fail after 5 hours. No, not a chance, man. And we had a blast. You know, we had people watching the kickoff show, and they were saying that they were watching both. They were watching my live stream as well as the WWE Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view kickoff show, and they were enjoying my shit a hell of a lot more than what they were seeing on the kickoff show. I appreciate that. I do. And when I hear those comments, and I had one where someone said I was the Gordon Soley of 2017. I got a good kick out of that. I love you guys, man. All my subscribers, all the viewers that are tuning in. If you are enjoying it, you know what to do. You subscribe, you hit that thumbs up, and you hit that little bell so you get notifications every time I upload or go live. Now, this is the end of the Raw Report. This has been Pillar to Post, and as always, I am Pete Wall, and you guys are all beautiful bastards, man. Love you to death. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow after SmackDown. Take it easy.